Hi, I'm Tara Bellio, and I'm part of the marketing team at BDO First Call Debt Solutions. The holiday season has begun, which means the busiest shopping season is in full swing. A recent national survey says that this year, Canadians will spend an average of just over $1,500 during the holidays, and for many people, that number can sound pretty intimidating, especially if they're already dealing with a heavy debt load. It can be difficult to feel holiday festive when finances are already stretched to the limit. The good news is, it is possible to make adjustments to lessen the debt stress that can come with the holidays. We asked our licensed insolvency trustees from across Canada for their best advice, including budgeting strategies, money-saving tips, and great resources to help Canadians celebrate this season without adding to their debt. In this week's podcast, we have Jason Stopel from our Thunder Bay office, Andre Balduc from our Ottawa office, Jennifer McCracken from our Vancouver office, and Craig Friesick from our Calgary office. Jason, why is it so important this time of year for people to have a holiday budget?
The holidays are a wonderfully magical time of year. We have get-togethers, gift-giving, and office mixers that generally do not occur during the rest of the year. With all the commotion, the go, and the holiday pressure to be generous in spirit, it can be a time of year when we break from the norms of our month-to-month budgets. The extra pressure, pace, and commotion makes it absolutely necessary to have a holiday budget. By sitting down ahead of time and determining what you can afford to spend and spend on each individual, you can hopefully avoid the impulse purchases and last-minute items that are notorious budget busters. As well, when you're planning ahead, if you're intending to use credit during the holidays, having a budget and making sure you have a plan to pay it off helps to make sure that the ghosts of Christmas past don't continue to haunt you well into the new year. When I work with families on their budget plans, or when I sit with my own family planning our holiday budget, we make sure to discuss the overall costs of the holiday, not just the presents under the tree. Make sure that when you're holiday budgeting, you consider host and hostess gifts, dinners out with friends, holiday clothing, wrapping paper, supplies, and all of the things you're going to use throughout the holidays. When you plan your holiday budget, you can use a formal tool from the web, or keep it simple with a tip from the greatest holiday planner of all time. Make a list and check it twice, and continue to check it throughout the holidays to make sure that you're sticking to budget and having the merriest of holiday seasons.
For Canadians who are worried about adding to their debt, Andre, what type of spending behaviors should they avoid over the holiday season?
The types of behaviors that are not good is, one, to overload your credit card if you're short on funds. Don't be tempted to make up the difference by putting on your credit card. That's unless you can pay it off right away or in the next month when it comes up. Anything you don't pay, you get charged interest on it, and credit cards will be anywhere from 19 to 29%. So when you're paying that amount of interest, it quickly cancels out any holiday deals you might have gotten at the time. Second thing is to think twice before applying for any store credit card. Often there's promotions that you can get one-time holiday deals and whatnot. These credit cards typically have 29% interest rates. Again, if you can't pay it off right away, I would avoid those because, again, it cancels out any deal you have if you have to pay 29% interest. Thirdly, be very careful about any deferred payment plans. That's when you're offered financing where you don't have to pay for a year or up to 18 months. These are great if you can pay it off before the grace period is up. But if you cannot pay it before the grace period is up, then they charge you interest from the date of purchase. So it can be very expensive, and you'll be dealing with that next year. And lastly, do not resort to payday loans under any circumstances. If you're struggling to pay your bills, resorting to payday loans is not a good idea, because typically these things get you trapped in a cycle of long-term debt, and it works out to an interest rate of 548%.
Jennifer, do you have any additional tips for saving money, spending less, and avoiding debt over the holidays?
I really encourage my clients to communicate with their family and friends over the holidays. It's important that you have discussions to talk about what you envision. You may find that instead of buying presents for each other, it's more important that you get together and establish a new tradition that it doesn't entail engaging in consumerism and buying things for each other. You may also think about ways that you can reduce your spending over the holidays. So things like homemade gifts, doing Secret Santa, so you're only having to buy one present as opposed to buying for many people. And you also, a lot of families I talk to develop an idea where they basically say, look, we're not buying for adults. We all have what we need, or we buy what we need throughout the year. So let's just focus on enjoying the holidays with the children and really buy for the youngsters, and also keep that at a minimum, small gifts, and talk about really what is needed. And remember that as opposed to being so focused on spending and shopping, there's ways that you can have family time together that actually doesn't involve spending money or going to a mall. Think about having potluck dinners. Depending on where you live in Canada, you may find that the weather is great for the snow activities, or just going outdoors, going to parks. There's also lots of community events. In Vancouver, we recently had our Santa Parade. There's no cost to going to these things, and it's a way to spend time together. The last bit of advice I give my clients is to ensure that they don't fall into the trap of the fear of missing out. So avoid looking online. You'll find on Twitter and any of your Facebook feeds the must-have gifts of the year. There's a lot of societal pressure and expectation that we buy things and buy the best and the shiniest. And really, if you try to avoid looking at those kinds of posts, keep your focus on your friends and your family, what makes you happy. Don't focus on following trends and trying to buy what other people have or to meet some other expectation, because that ultimately is not going to make you happy, and it's not going to be good for your budget. So plan the budget, stick to it, and find ways to do things that are going to stick in your budget and also allow you to spend time with your friends and family.
Finally, Craig. They say it's never too early to start planning for next year. What tips or strategies would you suggest to people who want to prepare for a debt-free December in 2018?
One of my favorite strategies for a debt-free Christmas next year is to start by doing a post-holiday assessment this year. Tally up all your extra spending from this holiday season and use that total to create a savings plan for next holiday season. If you need help with this, practicalmoneyskills.ca has an online calculator that helps you save for a goal. Then, and this is important, set up a weekly or monthly automatic deduction from your paycheck or checking account that goes directly into a special holiday savings account.
Thanks to our LITs for answering our questions, and thank you for listening to this episode of our BDO Debt Solutions podcast. Feel free to share this with friends and family, and check out our YouTube channel, BDO Debt Solutions Canada, for more podcasts and videos to help you leave debt behind. Until next time, I'm Tara Bellio, wishing you a joyful holiday season.